Hello, my name is Spencer and welcome back to my hobby channel. I like storytelling through dioramas. This project mainly revolves around a centipede I got when I was first learning to paint. This was the first miniature I painted and I thought that I could really enjoy this for the long haul, so I wanted to use it as the centerpiece for a diorama. In my previous diorama, I had a warrior fight a bear. He came in a pack of 2 barbarians, so I figured this project is the perfect opportunity to utilize the second one. In a way, this is a budget project using just my backlog of minis. For a start, we'll need some foam. I used the largest piece of foam that I cut out as a base, and then I stacked the rest of them using super glue. Once they were all secured, we can move on to the next step. For the next step, I will use my hot wire cutter to cut chunks off of the front of the wall. It is very important at this step to have good ventilation, as these fumes are toxic. Once the slope of the hill was created, I pushed the hot wire cutter into the rock wall to create some texture and some depth. Next, take some crumpled up aluminum foil and start beating the rock wall down. This will add some much needed rock or erosion texture, and you can repeat the pushing and the beating until you're happy with your rock face that you have created. I did some research into centipedes and found out that they like to live in damp, dim areas with some form of rot, so I took my hot wire cutter and started to make a burrow into the rock face. I greatly underestimated the size of the burrow on my first go, so I ended up going a little crazy on this step, as you can see. Once I dry fit the centipede and was confident everything would fit, I could move on to making a terrain paste. This paste consists of water, Mod Podge, and plaster. To make the paste, we just need to mix it in a container until it gets to a spreadable consistency. Then I applied the paste using my gloved hand to spread it around. Then with a brush, I put on some much more watered down paste on the rock wall face. Once hardened, we can take it to zenithal prime the entire base of the diorama. At this point, I used some Vallejo earth texture in the burrow to seal the centipede in place. I also made sure to blend the centipede's base into the earth texture to make it look better on the diorama. Once everything looked smooth, but before the texture had hardened, I added some rocks to hide any of the details. That would also help with tying the diorama together. Once everything had set in place, I tried to apply a rough zenithal highlight to the rocks I added using black primer and then a dry brush of white primer. I also made sure to paint the inside of the cave black. Now we can add some rock colors to the rock face. However, this process ended up being a bit more yellow than I had anticipated, but we will address that later. Where I wanted some soil colors, I put down some brown paint. And where I planned to put grass later, I put some Woodland Scenics earth undercoat and wet blended it into the soil color I added earlier. Again, this came out looking a lot more gross yellow colored, so I hit it all with a heavy dry brush of Xandri dust to make it a little bit more of the rocky, dusty mountain area I had originally intended. I spread around some watered down white glue to add some turf to the diorama. I knocked the excess turf onto the parchment paper to put it back into the container to not be wasteful, and then I also repeated with another color for some variety in the grass. To help blend the turf colors together, I put some drops of glue on the turf and then I let the bushes grow in naturally. While that dries, I'm going to try out a Woodland Scenics tree kit. This includes spreading glue on a pre-made stump and dipping it into a bag of leaves like Fun Dip. Ultimately, I found it a bit easier to add each leaf at a time. Once dried, I poked a hole in the base of the diorama to help the tree stand upright. Now we can focus on the hero of this diorama. He is not directly related to my previous barbarian, but I did have the thought that maybe in the future I could create some more elaborate stories behind these dioramas, like creating kingdoms of warriors with specific color palettes, or making it all a common world. For this scene though, I believe this barbarian's name is Arbon. His village has recently been plagued by this creepy crawly, so they sent him to dispatch the beast. He came armed to the teeth and was hoping to surprise his multi-legged foe, but it unfortunately saw him approaching the burrow and got ready for a fight. In a quick intermission, my partner wanted to show off her no crochet project, say hello to the Mandalorian and Grogu. They are adorable. I would not call myself an overtly experienced miniature painter, but I do feel like I can see my skills improving quickly. I'm very much looking forward to learning new techniques to make better dioramas. Who knows, maybe I'll even layer next time. Once dried, Arbon can jump off of his base and we can secure him into the scene. Once secured, we can paint the sides black and move on to some glamour shots. I'd like to take this moment to say thank you to each one of you who stayed through till the end of this video. I really do appreciate it, and I love sharing snapshots of my imagination. I will be back soon with a new tale to share. I hope you all have a nice week, and I will catch you in the next one.